Yo, 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 Cowboys Nation. What it do? Cowboys Nation today. It is November 14th, 2023. We are on episode 11, and we're going to be talking today about how the Cowboys absolutely killed the New York Giants. But it's just the New York Giants. It's just the New York Giants. I get it. We understand. They're not a very good football team. But we're going to break this down. I have my co-host for tonight, Chris. How are you doing, my friend?
I just love my dog.
Man, I'm doing wonderful, man. It's always good after a victory on Sundays against those hated New York Giants. So, I'm doing wonderful.
Hey, look, man, shout out to Trent. I had to go in to Trent's stream because they were talking crazy about Dak Prescott. I had to pull the Steve Austin out because that's sometimes how you have to do it. But with all the pleasantries out of the way, let's talk about this football game. Chris, there were a lot of things that I really liked about this football game that the Cowboys did. To me, I wasn't necessarily, obviously I was worried about the result because I wanted to see the Cowboys win this game, certainly. But when I mean, like, if they would have won this game by 7 points, but I saw the things that I saw them do on the offensive side of the football, I'd come away encouraged. And the reason why is because a few things that we talked about last week was I want to see Brandon Cooks more involved in this offense. I want to see the run game start to be a little better. I want them to start to figure out an identity for this football team and just for this offense in general. And I think that's something that we saw in this game, no doubt about it. The Cowboys are not going to be a team, to me, that's going to be able to run the ball effectively, consistently throughout the course of the season. But one thing that you can do when you're not running the ball effectively, if you are a team that's very good throwing the football, is that you can open up the run game because teams are respecting your passing attack so much. So that's one thing, to me, I was more so looking at what this offense did against that New York Giants defense, because that New York Giants defense did give some teams some fits this year. They held the Commanders, who have the quarterback who's leading the league in passing yards right now. They held them to 7 points. They did really good work against Josh Allen. And I'm not trying to hype up the New York Giants, not by any means, but I'm just saying that this is I would say, about an average, slightly below average defense that they played, and they put up 650 yards. But, I came out of this game saying, damn, the Cowboys need to get home field advantage come the playoff time because they're a completely different team at home. I don't care what team would have been on that football field yesterday. I think the Cowboys win that game because they're so damn good when they're at home. They're a team that's meant to play on that turf surface where the pass rush can go off. As an offensive lineman, did you play on turf too much?
Not too much because the era I played. I mean, but we did have a few teams. I'm from Fort Worth, so all the Fort Worth ISDs had grass field. But whenever we played Dallas ISD teams, the majority of them had turf, and it's an adjustment to get used to. I mean, but all it does is just make the game faster and everything. But man, just going back to your points about the game, the offensive explosion that the Cowboys had, man, it was well overdue. It's been happening, but in the Giants game, it was literally spread it around. It wasn't just CD. We had a Brandon Cook sighting. Of course, man, our tight end Ferguson is actually becoming is coming into himself, man. I think he's becoming a good tight end and everything like that. And we got a couple of players. Michael Gallup, hey, he got a touchdown, And I think the opening up of the playbook for Mike McCarthy, man, has I've been complaining for a month. Let's take the training wheels off of Dak Prescott and let's just play football, man. If he throw an interception, he throw a damn interception. I don't care about that. I care about the win at the end of the game. And so ever since he's letting Dak just do and run the offense, man, that you can see the vast improvements that the Cowboys have done. And then kudos to the offensive line because you didn't hear anybody's names on the offensive line Sunday. So when you don't hear any names on the offensive line, Dak had a clean game. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's the thing, right? To me, when it comes to Dak Prescott, he's playing at a very high level. And we'll get into more conversation about Dak Prescott later. But, I mean, the thing that I'm worried about going forward, and right now, I still, even though I saw some really good things from the Cowboys and I saw some adjustments being made, I just look at the NFC right now, and I'm not saying they can't. They have the talent on this team. They have the guys in that building to go win a damn Super Bowl. Right. But as of right now, with the way I've seen this team play so far this season, I'm saying that they're a divisional round exit right now. And the reason why I say that is because, can you incorporate these adjustments that you made when you get into bigger games? And if they can do that, then I'll feel a lot better about this football team. And, the reason why I say that is we saw this formula last year, like the way they went out and played against the Eagles last year or last week. We saw that formula last year. Put the game on Dak Prescott's shoulder, go make a bunch of plays. You don't necessarily have, receivers stepping up outside of CeeDee Lamb, favoring a tight end, run game's not really working, pass protection's breaking down. We saw this last year. It was the same exact team as last year. But now you have, if you can continue to get Brandon Cooks involved, I feel way better about this offense with Brandon Cooks as the number 2 receiver on this team compared to a Michael Gallup from last year. Or even what we saw up to this point, Jake Ferguson was the number 2 receiver. But the thing is, I just don't love a tight end being your number. I don't think that you can get to an NFC championship game with the teams around the conference that are as loaded as they are, with your main options being CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. You can't do it. But you can get to a Super Bowl and even win a Super Bowl if you have CeeDee Lamb playing the way he is, with Cooks stepping up and being that, reliable 1,000+ yard receiver that we've seen over the course of his career, with Jake Ferguson starting to elevate his play, with now a respectable passing attack that now teams have to account for. So now once you establish, hey, we can throw the ball on you, now we're going to start running the football. We're going to build off our passing attack and we're going to use that to run the football. Now, if I could continue to see these adjustments come into place, I feel great about this football team.
Man, I think a lot of us, man, we've still been stuck off of what Mike McCarthy said in the preseason and before the season start, man, that the Cowboys was going to be more ball control team. They're going to run the ball and everything like that. But what Mike McCarthy failed to realize, he didn't have that equipment on that team. His team had been equipped to throw the ball, for the last 3 years. Okay, it was no way that we were going to overnight become a running team just because Tony Pollard had breakout runs, but those breakout runs was not against 8-man fronts like Zeke was facing. And now since Tony is the number 1 back, hey man, they're keying on Tony when he does. So I appreciate Mike McCarthy actually getting everybody involved in the offense, man. It's all about offensive coordination, man. It's simple. That's the whole point. The title of being an offensive coordinator, head coach, is to get everybody involved to make your offense explosive. And on the game against the Giants, man, we actually seen that coordination where he got everybody involved. We've been begging to see Rico Dowdle to get more carries. We've been begging for him to get the ball to Cooks. We've been begging for the Cowboys to throw the ball downfield. And then against the game against the Giants, I was like, was Mike McCarthy mad at the Giants? Because even in the third quarter, they was putting the ball in the air going downfield. And I don't know if it was a practice game for him or was he getting ready for the playoffs or something? Because, I mean, he was actually showing, okay, man, we're going to be aggressive and we're going to attack.
I want to show this right here. This is Tyron Smith, who's playing at a all-pro level right now. 6 games Tyron Smith's been in, and he's let up 5 pressures this year. The guy's playing like we know he can play, but I just right now, like you said about Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle to me is better at what they're asking Tony Pollard to do. What they're asking Tony Pollard to do is run through the interior gaps. That's not the type of guy he is. And I understand where the Cowboys are coming from when they say, well, they didn't say it, but when a lot of people are talking about this team, well, now they're paying Tony Pollard more. He's going to be asked to carry more of the load. And I get that. And I understand that. And I respect where they're coming from. But at the end of the day, are you trying to win a Super Bowl? Or are you trying to take care of money that you already paid to Tony Pollard? Right now, Rico Dowdle does the responsibilities that Tony Pollard is doing right now better than what Tony Pollard's doing. It is what it is. And, when it comes to talking about Tony Pollard's money as an excuse to play him more than Rico Dowdle, or even just have him do the things that you would expect from, a bell cow type of back, I just think that that's stupid, because wouldn't you want to get
Chris, you there? Well, I see Kristen getting froze, and let's talk about this, guys. About the Cowboys and Rico Dowdle and the running game, and it's just simple, man. When you're a backup player in the NFL, you're just really trying to get on the field. And once you get on the field, of course, you want to take advantage of all your situations and everything like that. And one of the situations that we have is attacking in between the A gap and B gap, is getting upfield, because in the past that was the Cowboys' strength, was A and B gap running with Zeke or Elliott and everything. And then once in a while Zeke would break one for a long one. But Tony Pollard is not built that way. Tony Pollard is a sweep guy. He is a off tackle guy and everything like that. So now a lot of Cowboy fans have been down on Tony just because he don't have that breakout, that hadn't had that breakout run this year. And basically it's just simple. They're playing him at a different position than Zeke was. Matter of fact, he's Zeke now, and now Rico is coming off the bench and actually giving us that explosiveness. Okay. And all Cowboy fans is like, man, we need to play him more. And with me, I agree we need to play him more. I just think it's Mike McCarthy's job is to mix him and Tony Pollard, Rico and Tony together, to give that different look to the defense. And I think it opens up everything for Dak Prescott, as you can tell, because of his performance. Man, when Dak throw for 400 yards, I don't care who it's against, and I think it's just lame excuses for people who don't like the Cowboys or don't like Dak Prescott. That's the first thing people will say, is the competition that the Cowboys played against. But if you realize, hey man, Dak Prescott had almost 400 yards against the Eagles. Eagles are number one in the NFC. Okay. It's just simple things that cost us the game against the Eagles. But man, the Cowboys offense moved the ball against the Eagles at will. Now, except for in one quarter, in the third quarter, they didn't move it. But hey, we digress about talking about the Eagles. But what I'm talking about is the Cowboys' offensive scheme now is wide open, which we've been asking for, man. We've been asking for Mike McCarthy to let Dak off his training wheels and just, man, throw the ball downfield. And when you threw the ball, man, you got when you got Cooks involved, and he had almost 200 yards, man. That cleared up one-on-one for Micah Gallup to have that long pass one-on-one, because Micah Gallup is truly the Dez Bryant on the team. Because as we remember, Tony Romo used to throw jump fades to Dez Bryant one-on-one, and it was just easy pickings for Dez. And we got the same type of player in Michael Gallup. I mean, but we never give him those one-on-one balls, okay? And Michael Gallup game isn't separation. His game is up in the air, one-on-one balls, and go get it, okay? And clutch catches, because I think he is the most clutch receiver on our team. Some people will disagree. I believe Michael Gallup is the most clutch receiver on the team, meaning his hands are the best on the team. But we got to give props to CeeDee Lamb, man. Breaking records, literally breaking records. 10 catches and over 150 yards for 3 consecutive games. It's hard to do in the NFL as a wide receiver. I mean, because they're gonna roll coverage to you. They're gonna double team you. They're gonna try to put you in that box where the quarterback has to go on a different side. But Dak and Mike McCarthy has decided, hey, we're gonna force feed CD. As you can tell in the game on Sunday, man, his first touchdown was on a reverse run. Anything, man, to get the ball in your playmakers' hands is the key for the Cowboys. And I think our key for success is number 4, Dak Prescott. Just have faith in the quarterback. As a Cowboy fans, that's all we could do. But man, when we continuously go and we badger Dak about him throwing interceptions and he's not making the right read, he can't beat the best teams and everything. Hey, we're gonna see, because we got to play Philly again. I'm not considering the Bills a good team right now, but we still got the Bills. We still got Miami on the schedule. So hey, man, I just got faith in number 4. Chris is back. We see. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, my computer has been really unreliable recently.
Mhm.
And it's funny, I took it to go get it fixed and they were like, nothing's wrong with it. It's like, well, something's definitely wrong with it.
It happens, bro. It happens.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you for taking over. Yeah,
No.
but I was listening to some of what you were talking about while I was gone. CeeDee Lamb, yeah. I mean, big time receiver right now. I don't know how anybody doesn't put this guy within their top 7. I know Ty False is trying to say that he's not a top 10 receiver. He's ridiculous.
Why do you listen to Ty, man? Ty's thing is all complete entertainment, bro. It's nothing factual. It's just entertainment.
Then he starts arguing with me about certain things, and I'm like, oh wait, this guy actually real? False. But yeah, look, right now the recipe for the Cowboys' success, like their identity is Dak and CeeDee Lamb. Dak and CeeDee Lamb. Right now, those are the 2 best players on the team. Micah is not the best player on this football team anymore. He's just not. And I do want to have a conversation about Micah later on, but we'll save that for later.
Mhm.
The identity is Dak Prescott, you're going to throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb, and we're going to build off of that. Now teams are going to have to take CeeDee Lamb into account. Now what we're going to be able to do is now we can get Cooks involved. Now we can get Ferguson involved. Did you know that Brandon Cooks in that game, his average route run was like less than a yard leading up to that game, and now it's over 6 yards?
I did not know that. I didn't know that one.
It was over 6 yards per route run. So I think, and again, when we talk about this football game, we're not talking about the Cowboys beat the Giants. They're so great because they were able to do that. No, nobody's saying that. What we're saying is we saw adjustments that this team made. And one of the adjustments is, Brandon Cooks, we're not going to ask you to run, the entire route tree. We want you to run goes, comebacks, crossers, slants from time to time. We want you to outrun the guy across from you, which is a big thing, And again, when it comes to those go routes that Brandon Cooks runs, it comes down to, all right, just outrun the guy across from you. But oh wait, now they have to take your speed into account. So what we're going to do is, they're going to play like that against you. Now snap off and go run a comeback route, and Dak's going to get the ball to you. So those were some of the adjustments that they made. And look, again, it's not a bad defense that they played against.
No.
And they were able to move the ball with ease, and Brandon Cooks looked incredible yesterday. And, I'm not asking for 170 yards from Brandon Cooks every game. If he wants to do that, that would be great. But that's besides the point.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you though on that, Chris. I think this is my question. Do you think the emergence of CD just helped Brandon even more? Because all the attention you got to give to CD now, man. I think you get more and more one-on-one matchups for Cooks and Gallup, and I think that almost 200 yards that Cooks had was direct reflection of CeeDee being a beast that he's being lately.
Oh, no doubt. No, CeeDee Lamb's been one of the best receivers in football this year. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And now teams are taking note. You know, like you had Richard Sherman out there saying that he's not a number one receiver, which is just crazy that somebody could maintain credibility while also saying something just utterly ridiculous like that. But that's besides the point. Yeah, no, Brandon Cooks is, you know, again, we have to see this more consistently from Brandon Cooks.
Right.
I'm not going to overreact off this one game, but, you know, I do think that now a focal point of this offense is, okay, you know, let's get CeeDee Lamb involved early, but now let's feed Cooks because, yeah, like he's definitely. I think going forward, he's going to be a lot of what he's going to be asked to do, and you know, a lot of his production is going to come from the fact that teams are paying so much attention to CeeDee Lamb. But you know, Brandon Cooks with the player that even he was last year in Houston. You get that player along with how CeeDee Lamb's playing right now, along with what Jake Ferguson's doing. I mean, that's the offensive talent you need to get to go win a Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that. Now, again, when we talk about winning a Super Bowl, other things need to come into play. We got to be better situationally. You know, we got to run the ball more effectively. We did a good job running the ball the other day, but we got to see it more often from this team.
Yeah.
You know, the defense has to be more consistent.
Yeah.
But it's just very refreshing to see that this team has an identity that they're living and dying by. And look, if you die by CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, I'm fine with that because you're dying on what you're great at.
Right. I know a lot of people was questioning the Cowboys' identity on offense. Chris, it is what it is, man. It has to go through number 4. That's our identity. You know, before when Dak is freshman and sophomore seasons, you know, the Cowboys had a dominant offensive line and we were just going to pound you in submission. Okay. But things happen, man. The league changes and the way we play football nowadays is a pass first. That's everybody. That's, you know, that's maybe a few teams don't do that. Maybe Tennessee, maybe the Niners, but everybody else, that's just where the league is. And we just got to accept, man, we got to put the ball in the air these days. And I'm confident in our quarterback. You know how a lot of people, if he had one bad game, man, we're burning jerseys. We're cursing him in infamy and everything like that.
Has a bad game. He's still an elite player.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's ridiculous, man. We're shooting TVs and things like that. I was like, my God, we can overreact, you know, over one bad game. But you know, I just think, man, you know, like I was telling another group of friends, I said there's no trap games anymore for the Cowboys. Cowboys got to play this way every week. You know, they got to. So
it was definitely us. You know, one conversation that I want to have is about Micah Parsons.
Right.
You know, look, I think he's a really good player, but he's an elite player in this league, no doubt about it. He's an elite defensive player. But, you know, I'm not even just talking about Cowboys fans. I'm just talking about football fans in general. Did we kind of overrate Micah Parsons? Because, you know, we talked about this earlier in the season. Is he Von Miller? Is he DeMarcus Ware? Both are great players. But, you know, I think there's a difference between the two players. And, you know, one of the differences we talked about was DeMarcus Ware would get sacks, you know, through the first 3 quarters of the game and even some of the fourth quarter. But when it mattered the most, wasn't around. You know, see Von Miller. What did Von Miller do? He made big time plays. But I right now, like, when we talk about Micah being the next Lawrence Taylor, I think people need to relax with that. You have to be the best defensive player in the league before I can compare you to the best defensive player of all time. And right now, I just don't think Micah Parsons is that. I think Myles Garrett is a better player than him. And we can have our debates about, you know, maybe a Nick Bosa, Max Crosby type guy, Aaron Donald being better than Micah Parsons. I think there's a debate to be had, but when people compare him to all-time greats, I need him to be better than every defensive player in the league before I can compare him to those guys.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the initial question you asked. Who is he? I think he's neither of the two you compared. That used to drive me crazy about DeMarcus Ware. He's a Hall of Famer. I loved him. I love him to death. But the DeMarcus Ware got all his sacks in the first half, and then the second half he disappeared. And it used to irritate me. Von Miller is just a animal. To me, they controlled his snap so where in the fourth quarter that he would be that elite pass rusher that he is today. Micah Parsons is a unique animal because they can move him in different places and he can rush from different places. I just think lately, just because Micah is so vocal on the microphone now, he's taking a lot of criticism about his on the field play also. And a lot of his on the field play has been almost getting there and not quite getting there. But in Philadelphia, he made some big plays. But and a buddy of mine asked me, man, did Micah Parsons even play against the Giants? And I was like, he did. I said, but we really didn't need him. I mean, we got 6 sacks, and you really didn't need him. I can't judge him off the Giants game. Okay. Only games that to me I can ever judge Micah Parsons is off a close game if he's going to make the big play in that close game. And really, man, Chris, if you think about it, we hadn't had any close games other than the Arizona loss. So how can we really judge him if he's going to be that big time playmaker when it counts until it counts? Okay, because every win has either been a blowout or a loss.
Hey,
so, it's kind of hard.
I gotta bring up something. Is this Cowboys Nation or is this 49ers Nation?
Hey, they love us, bro. They love us.
Right? 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
49ers. 49ers. Cowboys Nation, what the hell is going on here? You're gonna let Niners fans invade this stream?
Hey man, they love you, bro. They love you, man. They follow you everywhere you go.
Hey man, hey, you love to say it, especially one of those people. That's besides the point. Look, but when we, my thing with Micah Parsons is I don't think he's playing the right position. I think he's an off-ball linebacker that can rush the passer. And, what's the difference between, a play that gets the opposing offense -3 yards and a sack that gets the offense -3 yards? There's no difference. It's a loss of 3 yards.
Right.
So what I mean is when you have Micah Parsons as a stand-up linebacker and he's running all over the field and he's making plays all over the field, guess what? You now increase the likelihood that you're going to have those explosive plays, even in the run game. Go shoot a gap, make a play in the backfield. Micah Parsons can do that. Like he could be just as aggressive as a player. I sound like Mookie the way that I'm shuffling my words here. He could be just as aggressive of a player when he's attacking the line of scrimmage and making plays in the run game as he can be as a pass rusher. And I think the Cowboys need to let him off the leash and go let him do that. Trust Sam Williams. Yeah. Sam Williams has been showing you some things recently. So to me, what one adjustment that I would love to see them make going forward is DeMarcus Lawrence I believe he plays on the left defensive end. Sam Williams on the right defensive end. Let Micah Parsons stand up and go play linebacker.
Yeah, because his A-gap rushing, man, has been elite. I mean, dude, centers hate to see him. And I play center, and if the people who gave me the biggest problem was speed rushers or speed nose tackles. I need that big lumbering guy like me, that I can lock horns, and man, we can do the 300-pound dance. But when you get a guy 250 pounds and running sub 40s, and you're like, okay, I got to deal with this nonsense. I'm not built for that. And when they move him to the middle and his A-gap rushing is, man, he's getting there every time. He got there on Jalen Hurts against the great Jason Kelsey. So, you know, and he's a Hall of Famer, and man, he abused one of the Giants centers and guard technique combo. It was ugly, but he just barely missed the quarterback. But you know, I agree with you. I like him at the off-ball linebacker. But I think his specialty is because he is that unicorn, man. He can go different places. I always like this one concept the Cowboys ran at one time when Randy Gregory was here. They had Randy Gregory, Tank Lawrence, and Micah Parsons all on the same side on a passing down. Which one were you going to block? So you could do the same thing with God, why am I we just said his name 54
Williams,
yeah, with Sam. You put Sam on the side and Fowler and Micah Parsons. Which one are you going to block? One of them are going to get through. One of them is going to be one-on-one with a running back, and one may be one-on-one with the tight end, and those are wins for the Cowboys, okay? And I don't know where that formation went. They actually did that against the Patriots, man, in that overtime game, and they got to him so fast, and I was like, it was brilliant, but I really hadn't seen it since. So Micah Parsons is that unicorn. Use that unicorn. Use his magical powers, man. Just don't put him on a left side rush in, a strong rush in. Move him around. I love that A-gap blitz, man. Put him on the other side. Hell, put him at defenses, but a 3 technique next to Sam Williams and Fowler. Do that, okay? Because if you do that, they can't game plan against him. And when Micah gets more one-on-one blocking, he's going to win at least 50% of the time.
And, you know, my thing with this defense is, you know, they need to get in. They, you know, as long as they stop the runs on the early downs, which they've been doing really well this year. You know, Mozzie Smith had a great game.
He did have a good game. I was happy for him.
You know, it's funny. There was just one play where he got off the ball so damn late that like he was in position to make a play. It was so weird. Like man, if he can just do that, if he can add that to his game, man.
I think Mozzie, man, underestimated the strength of offensive linemen in the NFL. Okay. Because when he was at Michigan, he was, of course, that 1-2 technique. He just sat there in a hole and he was unmovable. Okay. In the NFL, these offensive linemen, they were all-American around the board. They've been mauling people their whole life. You know, I'm a great admirer of mauling people as offensive lineman. And I think Mozzie, man, you know, they showed his agility drills and the combines and everything like that. I think Mozzie just got to get his strength up. And I think he get his anchor down and he'll be just fine. But yeah, he actually had a pretty good game against the Giants, and I was really excited about that. But to me, the more playing time he can get, the better he'll get. But it's kind of hard now with Idigizua and Gilmore playing as good as they are.
I have a question. Why does it seem like every Michigan player just gets off the ball so slow? Like why
every Michigan player does not get off the ball so slow?
It's like everyone.
I know
Taco Charlton got off the ball slow.
I don't want you to ever bring up Taco Charlton again, ever. Okay.
It's like even some other Michigan players.
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it.
I think it's more of the scheme that they play. It's more conducive.
It's a different scheme than the NFL scheme. Yeah,
than the NFL. Yeah. So but I mean, look, I do want to see more consistency out of this defense. I do. And if this defense can be more consistent, you know, like to me, that Philly game still weighs in my mind heavy because I understand Philly didn't get a lot of yards in that game. And if you look at the yardage total, they did some good things. Philly got whatever they wanted that game now.
The third quarter killed us.
Yeah. Especially in that third quarter. You know, and the penalties as well, starting them at the 40, you can't do that going forward. But one thing that I want to shift to is, do you think it's fair to put Dak Prescott in the MVP conversation?
Currently, why not? Everybody's in the MVP conversation in the middle of the season. I mean, because statistically, Dak should be in the MVP conversation. You know, like I said, man, we've just had the media has had this stigma about Dak Prescott not being a good quarterback. We've had his own players call him the Black Kirk Cousins, and like it was an insult. And ever since then, you know, people have this narrative about Dak Prescott not being an elite quarterback. You've done videos, I've done videos proving otherwise. Okay. But you know, when people's eye tests, you know, to me, the eye tests don't lie. These last 3 games, matter of fact, ever since the Niner game, Dak Prescott has played excellent football. I think he took upon himself to say, man, I talked all this smack that I was angry and I was going to come out and do all this against the Niners, and then I absolutely sucked. I think Dak has finally got comfortable in his skin. You know, football is a mental thing too. You play quarterback, Chris, you know, you got to be there mentally. Okay. So if you're not there mentally 100%, man, it can affect your performance on the field. And I think Dak is there now. You can tell that in interviews now. You know, remember, Dak never used to kind of snap on people. He just answered the question graciously and move on. Now Dak got a little edge to him. And I'm digging this edge is because he's actually doing it on and off the field. Okay. So I think his mental health is there. And his physical health is there, and he's not just relying on his arm. You see, he's getting out the pocket, he's running. And Chris, I love it. Every time it's any kind of out the pocket play for Dak Prescott, his passes are 100% on the money. He hits you dead on stride. And I was like, he throws better on the run than he does in the pocket. So I think it's more or less the Cowboys have to adjust to Dak, and I think we'll be fine.
And you could tell the coaching staff is enabling him, which is great to see. You know, they're telling him all the right things in those meetings. And you know, to me, the whole interception narrative last year, it was a non-story. It was a non-story to me. They changed their offensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden, Dak Prescott's playing MVP level football. And you know, here's the thing: it's not just a 1 week sample size. We've seen consistently over these last 4 games, Dak Prescott's playing high level football, played high level football against the Jets earlier in the season, played really good against the Patriots, didn't really have to do much against the Cardinals. You know, he was okay against or not the Cardinals. I mean, the Giants game 1. He was okay versus the Cardinals, really bad against the San Francisco 49ers. But ever since then, you know, look, if this was Jalen Hurts and he played as bad as Dak did that game against San Francisco, they'd be like, look at how resilient he is, man. they'd be like this. Hold up.
Look at how resilient he is.
You know, but it's Dak Prescott. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But
you know how everybody preordained Josh Allen in Buffalo, how he's the next best thing, and he at least got his team to the AFC Championship game, and he got 11 interceptions, and you know he's just doing dumb stuff. And it's like, but nobody remember, they don't have that same receipt. Okay, look, you know, you put him above Dak, and now is Dak better than Josh? Who would you take now? If you asked a Buffalo fan, they would be dying for Dak Prescott. Like,
I say this about Dak Prescott and Josh Allen. It's all about what you prefer more. To me, Josh Allen can play at an elite level, but then he can play at a level.
Yes.
Dak Prescott's consistently really good. You know, but right now he's playing elite football there. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want to run some things off. Dak Prescott right now is number 1 in completion percentage. He's number 1 on target throw percentage. He's averaging over 8 yards per attempt. He's top 5 in that. He's top 3 in QBR. He's top 3 in passer rating. He's top 3 on the PFF grade. He's top 5 in touchdowns. He's top 10 in passing yards, even though, you know, in like 5 or 6 of the games that they played in, you know, they've been getting blown. They were getting blown out in the San Francisco 49ers game, but they were also doing the blowing out in, the Giants twice, the Rams, the Patriots. There was another game in there where they won big. No. It was just those 4 games. And then, the 49ers game. So in 5 of those games, he'd even play the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And he's putting up these crazy numbers. And not only that, he's the best third down quarterback in the league. He's the best quarterback in the league against man coverage. You're not going to piss on me and tell me it's raining. You're not going to call me delusional when I say that this guy is playing like a top 3 quarterback in the league right now. Now, look, is he a top 3 quarterback in football? No, but there's a difference between playing like a top 3 quarterback over a stretch of time and being a top 3 quarterback. He's playing like a top 3 quarterback in football right now. And, Dominique Foxworth makes a good argument that he might be playing like the best quarterback in football. And I forgot to mention, on top of the, like I said, number 1 in completion percentage and on target throw percentage, number 1 in QBR, number 1 in passer rating, number 1, number top 3 in those statistics. He's doing this with, Mike McCarthy as his play caller, who's stepped up his game, but we've seen the flaws in his play calling, an offensive line that's not necessarily doing a great job, a rushing attack that has been pretty much non-existent. So when you talk about value to their football team, right now, I believe that Dak's the most valuable player in the league right now. Outside of CJ Stroud's really valuable as well, and I think that we have to give some credit over there. But you can go either way with that. But Dak Prescott has a legitimate case.
And everything you said, Chris, was true. It's just, to me, as Cowboy fans, being a Cowboy fan, you always worry about consistency at that position. And hopefully that we have that professional athlete, that veteran athlete at that position right now. And I think we're going to get that consistency. I just think he's playing at a different confidence level, though. As a quarterback yourself, once you're confident, you think you can make every damn throw. Hey man, that's the quarterback you want. Okay, you want him on the field. So I'm excited that Dak has that confidence right now. I mean, because even that one hand catch CeeDee made, normally Dak wouldn't throw that ball because it was well contested, and he fit that sucker in, and CeeDee made an awesome catch. That's the confidence level that I'm talking about. Because freshman year, sophomore year, and junior year, Dak Prescott wouldn't have thrown that pass.
No.
He had that stigma as the dink and dunk Dak. Not anymore. He's going downfield, man, with aggression and putting some zip on it. And one thing you got to remember about Dak: when he missed high, and that's how he gets his interceptions. Okay, but when he's on target, he's hitting you dead in the chest.
Yeah. And you want to know what? Another thing that I don't think people give enough credit to when it comes to Dak Prescott, he has tremendous command of this offense right now. He's getting in and out of those plays like, it's obviously I can't compare that specific thing to anything, but he's doing a really good job getting in and out of those plays for that offense. And I think he's taking the approach that I took my senior year. My offensive coordinator would call a play down, and I'd be like, all right, he would call one play, and then I'd go to the huddle and call a completely different play. I think that Dak Prescott's doing the same thing because this offense, it just looks more modern. That's one thing that I had a problem with when it came to Mike McCarthy at the beginning of the year. His offense wasn't modern. It was like 1990s West Coast style of offense.
Yeah, it was.
Now it's like pop motion. Just they're actually using motion to move defenders on the other side. It's just the offense looks so much more innovative, and the offense was successful last week against Philly. So for the people who say,
do it against the good team.
Is Philly not good? And I understand their defense has some struggles on that side, but guess what? You might be playing that struggling defense in the playoffs.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if their defense is struggling. If you play them in the playoffs, it's not like it's not like all of a sudden Darius Slay is going to turn back the clock and be 25-year-old Darius Slay. It's not like James Bradbury is going to all of a sudden be good. No, like this is what you got to deal with. So
I know you were preaching patience earlier in the season, and I think this is when Cowboy fans really need to. I mean, because we know this is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, so right now we're in the middle of this marathon right now. Okay, and we just need to be patient and take care of our business, because like you say, they're gonna come back to us. The Eagles and whoever we have to play in the playoffs, they're coming to us, and I think we'll be ready for them. And I know that people say, "Man, you don't want to play the Niners again." Man, I do. I want the Niners. I want the Eagles. I want them all because, Chris, you know how it is, man. It to win championships, you got to go through the best teams, right?
What did Ric Flair say?
To beat a man, you got to beat them. So, hey, until we beat them, it is what it is. So, but I'm one of those Cowboy fans. I don't want to duck nobody or call our team ducking people. No, I want to play the best. Okay. Because there's nothing like to see that star on that field against them other teams, man, that be dominant, and just like Sunday, it was a dominant performance, and it was, hey, I loved every minute.
Yeah, if we get to the NFC Championship game, I don't want it to be by beating a 9-8 Giants team.
Yeah. No, I want everybody to be healthy. I want to be against the best team because the best play the best. Iron sharpen iron, and I need Dak and Mike McCarthy to be in that metal shop, really sharpening this iron, man. And come up with more inventive plays. Because when you brought that up, Chris, it reminded me of a conversation I had with a young lady. And she said, "Chris, I saw your TikTok and I learned something." I said, "Well, what did you learn?" She said, when you said the Cowboys come to the line of scrimmage and they scream, kill, it's going to be a run play. And they ran the ball every time. I said, well, this is the problem. I just watched football. I played it years ago. And if I pick that up as a fan, other people have picked that up too in the NFL.
And you know what's crazy? I don't really hear Dak going like kill.
You don't do it no more.
All right, let's reload because the reason why he's saying that kill stuff is because they're coming out in a certain front. They're coming out maybe in a heavy box or in a light box, and he's like, all right, kill to the run play. But then, all right, now the defense might show something else. Now, all right, let's reload back into the passing play. I don't really hear him saying, reload after kill. So, it seems like it's like, all right, we come out in the passing play. They're coming out in certain personnel, kill. Now we're just going to run the football here. Or maybe he's saying kill, and he's getting to the next play. Now it's a passing play because now, they go out with the 3 plays. They go out with 3 plays and it's, all right, we come out in this play. All right, they're showing something else, kill. But then, oh, wait, they're showing something else now, reload, get back to the first play. So it is interesting with those cadences. He's one of and that's why he's one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch. And I think I'd be saying that if I wasn't a fan of the team because of, the way he communicates at the line of scrimmage. But big fella, I do want to ask this last question before we bounce out.
All right.
Our next game is against the Panthers. We follow that up against the Commanders. We follow that up with a home game against the Seattle Seahawks. And then we go on a 10-day break.
Yes.
Until we play at home again against Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football.
Yes.
Next 3 games for them. You got the Chiefs on Monday night in Arrowhead. You have the Bills with, Josh Allen. When he decides to turn it on, that's a dangerous team.
Yeah.
When he decides to turn it on, they're going to be fighting for their lives in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They play the 49ers the next week.
Yep.
I think they're losing 2 of those games.
Then us. They
play us on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to know what's another thing? I think it'd probably be best for them if they went from, Philly to Dallas, played that Dallas game, and then spent the week in Seattle because they got to go to Seattle the week after that. And that's a tough flight from, Philadelphia to Seattle. That's a tough flight.
Yeah.
Is it too much of an overreaction to say that the Cowboys could win this division?
No, but I'm leery now because when we were just down 1, I was fine. Then we were down 2.5. Then I got concerned. And the reason I got concerned is because sometimes the Cowboys will play down the competition and it irritates the hell out of me. Okay. But that's why I say there's no more trap games for the Cowboys. They can't play down the competition anymore if they want to win the East. Okay. Because now this is the middle of that marathon where that monkey has jumped on the back, and we're looking for that monkey to jump on the back of the Eagles. Okay. Because their last 4 games are cakewalks. Okay. So we have to take advantage of our situation while they're handling their rough part of the season. So if we take advantage of what we supposed to be, I think by the time we play them again, it'll be for the lead in the NFC East, and then the fight's on then. Okay. Because then the Cowboys will be really laser focused on, none of this crap. I mean, because we still got to go to Miami and Buffalo ourselves. Okay. I'm not I shouldn't say this, but I'm really, at first I was worried about the Buffalo game because it's going to be cold. It's going to be in Orchard Park. Their offense is tremendous, but now I you don't know which Buffalo you're going to get. Okay. But
That's
Miami at home is electrifying. They're they are the Rams of the early 90s, they're just speed everywhere. Yeah. So but the Cowboys do play up to competition too. I think they'll be up for that game. But Chris, I really believe if they just take care of their business, one game at a time, I think the Eagles will fall back to us like dominoes, and we'll take advantage of it.
Hey, this is what I'll say, right? You compared them to the Rams in the 90s. I think a better comparison for the Miami Dolphins is they're the USC of the NFL.
That's true. Yeah. Speed everywhere.
They're the USC. When they go up against a team that can punch them in the teeth, they don't respond well.
Yeah, you got to beat them up. You have to. You got to rough them up. You can't play nice with them. Yeah.
Look, I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles week 14, and it goes back to you should have beat them in Philly, and not only should you have beat them in Philly, and by the way, I forgot to add, they're going to be without Dallas Goedert these next 4 games. So that is a big piece of their offense that they're not going to have. That's why I think they're going to drop 2 of these next 3. I think they're going to lose to the Chiefs, and I think they're going to lose to the 49ers. I think the 49ers, they're playing in their second Super Bowl of the season, and they're going to go out there and they're going to have a big time performance against the Eagles, because when that team puts their mind to something, they're dangerous.
Because the Chiefs have coming off of 2 poor performances, and they're trying to get back on track. And didn't the Chiefs have a bye last week?
Both teams are working off a bye.
Yeah, so
Andy Reid off a bye.
Yeah, it may be. Hey, I'm gonna be. This is probably the only Monday night game that I have been looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to this game. Just because it's the Super Bowl rematch, we need the the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, and to handle business. But like I say, I hate depending on other teams to handle business where we should do it ourselves. So, but we'll see, because we thought the Commanders had them too in Washington, and they let them off the hook too. We had them, we let them off the hook, so if we handle our business, don't worry, they'll be back. They'll come back to us.
Oh yeah, and you want to know what? That's why that game is going to be so interesting in Dallas week 14, 13, 14. I think it's 14, because I think the Cowboys are going to win their next 3. I think they're going to beat especially because look, Carolina, salute to them. Honestly, salute to them. They're going through some struggles there. Not a aesthetically pleasing offense to watch. Don't have good personnel, not fast on the outside. They're going to have some real problems on Sunday, and I think the Cowboys are going to win by a lot. That's our preview of the game. So don't expect a preview from us for that.
Carolina, their whole mission, their coach's whole mission should be this: let's make this game as ugly as possible. Just make it ugly. Let's try to get the Cowboys off a rhythm in offense and try to make a slobber knocker on defense. But unfortunately, I think that their team is so young right now, and then they're so depleted of athletes on their team. That's what I mean about being a trap game. This isn't a trap game. The Cowboys, if they had that same mentality they had against the Giants, against the Panthers, the Cowboys may score 60. So it could get ugly pretty quick.
And that's the thing, right? You just want to continue to see the adjustments that they made on offense. You want to see that in this game because if they're able to do that, okay, now we feel confident. Now we're going to step up in competition a little bit here and play the Washington Commanders. They're not Washington. They're not slouches over there, but at home, I like the Cowboys in that game. Right. But now you're stepping up in competition here. I want to see those same adjustments that you made to go into that game. And then we play Seattle. I want to see these adjustments because that's now a big step up in competition. Right. So, and to me, there's this whole social media narrative. The Cowboys can't play well against good teams. They played two good teams this year so far. They played the 49ers and they played the Eagles. They played well against the Eagles. They just didn't finish. So if you want to sit here and say they need to finish against good teams, that's where you have me. But when you say they can't play good against a good team, well, Philly's a good team. You went into Philly and you didn't play a perfect game that game. You just didn't. It wasn't one of those games like Tampa Bay in 2021 where the Cowboys the Cowboys forced 4 turnovers. And the Bucks won that game, but the Cowboys had, all those turnovers. So they were able to keep it close, even though the Buccaneers were just the better football team. It wasn't that wasn't the case at all. You gave them that game, but that's beside the point. We've already talked about that. So closing thoughts, big fella. How do you feel about this Cowboys team? Do you feel any different about this Cowboys team coming out of this game?
No different. I felt that we did what we supposed to do. The expectation was for us to go in there and destroy the Giants, and they did. To me, that showed that the Cowboys are a professional football team and they know how to handle business now. And I think going forward, the Cowboys will continue to handle business.
Yep, I 100% agree with you. Right. The only thing that changed my mind is just those adjustments they made on offense. I'm very high on them because, man, like if you continue to do what you did with Brandon Cooks going forward, I think they might have hit on something. And if it takes going up against a bad team and trying some things out against a bad team for you to, make those adjustments so that when you play against a good team, you kind of have an idea of what works. I'm fine with that. Every team plays bad teams on their schedule. Every team has a stretch of games where they play against bad teams. It's all about in those games against bad teams. It's about trying new things out. And that's what the Cowboys did in this game. So I would say that I feel better from that perspective. I mean, look, they were supposed to win this game, and they're supposed to win this game on Sunday. So they're going to go to 7-3. And then I don't want to get, or what's it? No, that would be 7-3. So, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but again, like I do feel a little better. I just got to see it. Like if they go and play Seattle and you see these adjustments that they made, and one more adjustment that they have to make is the responsibilities that you're asking of Tony Pollard, give them to Dowdle, and the responsibilities you're asking of Dowdle, give them to Pollard. Switch those roles, and you'll be good. So yeah, Chris, that's going to be it for the show.
All right, man. I got one last thing to say.
Go ahead and say it. Oh,
Go
man.
Blue.
Oh man, you're killing me. It's not even the week that we play you guys. So
I'm getting you prepared, bro. Getting you prepared.
hopefully, hopefully you guys aren't stealing signs there on the sideline. And yeah, if you guys are able to do that, that's going to give you guys a big advantage in that game. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming out, Chris. Always a pleasure. Thank you for sticking with me tonight. We had a limited cast tonight, but that's all good. We made it work.
All right, bro. Take it
all right,
easy.
I'll talk to you, my friend.
Peace.